Hey guys, it's Craig again, Squatcher1222, gmail.com. We're searching for answers. I'd like to start out by, again, thanking Dr. John Baronshock at Grasping Sasquatch over on Untold Radio, Wayne at Paranormal Odyssey Podcast, Manimal Research, and that Bigfoot podcast. He's really helped me out a lot. Those two guys are a wealth of knowledge. Help them out. Go check out their channels. Give them a like, subscribe, see what they're into. It might be your thing. Just wanted to start out, guys. This episode's about our equipment, but I wanted to touch on something real quick. Been hearing a lot lately about white Sasquatch, white Bigfoot. Do they exist? Are they rare? Are they in Tennessee? Are they here? Are they there? I'd never really given it any thought, but like I said, I've got a hair samples and they happen to be white. And I know I've talked about them a few times, so I'm going to try and show you guys an example of that. There it is. That's not the full length. That's on a white glove or a black glove, the white hair on a black glove. You can see where I said it's not really kinky, not really wavy. It's just a little different. It's pretty long. Again, it's very white. And then there you can barely see it in there, but there's the measurement. We measured it several times, several of us. That's about as thick as we could get it. Different things. And then, like I said, with Janice Carter, we said put the white hair on the white paper and it disappears. If you look there in the center of the screen, you can kind of see it laying on my desk. And then when it lays on the paper, it's just gone. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I just thought I'd touch in on that. I do believe there's white Bigfoot. Janice believes there's white Bigfoot. We seem to be seeing a lot of that coming around lately. And again, I don't know what to make of it. Like I said, I'm in touch with NC State. Still waiting to hear back from them. See what's going on with their DNA study. I know he's busy. Got a lot going on, Dr. Darby. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. But again, this episode's about equipment. That's the reason it took so long to get this one out. I've been doing a lot of research with my equipment. What I've learned is I know nothing. I know nothing about my equipment. How well do we know our equipment? I apparently don't know anything. I set up my trail cam to try and get some pictures. I go out. I set it up. I set this one up. It was 6 inches from the ground. I set my bait trap about 6 foot away on a slight grade. I knew it was a grade, but I didn't think it was that bad. But I set it up. I left. I come back a week later. There's definite disturbance there. I was tickled. I pull my card. And I go back. I don't have to hike all the way back out. I check it. I don't have a card reader as of yet. I'm working on that, but maybe I can come up with one. I've just got a laptop, and I'm not carrying that thing all the way out where I'm at. So I got out there after a week and realized I had 0 pictures except for when I went out there, and they were at my armpit height. I was 6 inches off the ground of a tree, 6 feet away, but I didn't take into account the angle and the height that would present. So something could easily have come in underneath that. So once I seen that, I go back out, I move my trail cam. I angle it differently. I move a different bait, and I go back. I leave. A week later, I go back, same results, except this time I had a crazy amount of pictures, over 200 pictures of a limb flipping in the wind that I did not see. So again, that goes back to tell me, so did I lose 2-3 weeks worth of time and research, or did I gain a wealth of knowledge and what I really need to be looking for out there with our trail cams and seeing what we're really getting into? How well do we know them? What triggers their sensitivity? How fast do they actually react? People say, oh, you can't catch a Bigfoot on a trail cam, or I've got this, or I got that. Well, if they move as fast as some people report that they move, maybe they're moving faster than that can ignite that sensor to take that picture. So if we tested that, if we tried to outpace our own cameras, do we know maybe it takes at this range you can move this fast versus all the way back, or what actually triggers that camera and how much time do we have? How well do we know our cameras, and do we play with them? Does each camera we have, does it react differently? Does it give off a hum? Some people say they might give off infrasound. If they can supposedly, if they can supposedly vocalize in the infrasound, is it possible they can see in the infrared? And is it possible that they see those cameras and they can hear the sounds they make? I don't know. I'm just curious about that. And how well do we know them? How well, how like if we're using vocal recorders out here, digital recorders, how well do we know our digital recorder? How do we know where the sound is coming from? How far away from our recorder do we have it set up? And what actually triggers it? You read about these ones that are voice activated. So how, like, again, how do we know if it's what the range is to activate that vocal recorder? Is it only in the human range, or and how quick does it respond? Is it actually recording all the time but only back feeds for so long and constantly deletes itself? So as when it does get that vocal recording and you get the beginning of it, or say I'm starting a sentence now, which word does it actually pick up on and record? So how much are we missing? How well do we know that? And the distance that we're getting this from, we say, oh, it walked right up to it. How do we know that? Have we done those tests? Have we set our recorder here and marked it off? I'm 5 feet away. This is the sound of footsteps at 5 feet away, and vice versa, so that we have our basis, our base reading. I've not done that. I don't have a vocal recorder. I'm working on getting one, but that's the question I'm asking. Are we doing it with a digital like this that we can record forever? We can leave it out there for hours and hours or weeks on end, or are we doing these other? I guess they'd be more like an analog or old school type recorder where it is what it is. It's on tape or it ain't. I believe that's kind of similar to what they did with the Sierra sounds. I would consider that more analog because it's on tape. It's less electronics, and then that goes in with our equipment. Are we old school or new school? I hear everything. If they're picking up on this electromagnetic stuff and all these infrasounds and infrared and all this technology that we got now, and maybe that's deterring them, maybe we should go back to the old school. And they say that's why maybe the Patterson-Gimlin film is the gold standard, is because it was so low tech. It was literally point and shoot. You pulled a trigger and it is what it is. There was no zoom, there was no this. You just hold it out there and it records. Whereas now, all this, we're trying to get such clear pictures with these 4K and everything. Are they actually taking that picture, or is it filtering out what it thinks you want to see when you get the focus? Like how do we know how well that is? Because when you zoom in on something that's so pixelated, or like the new Samsungs, are they just really detecting things that aren't really there? With the 4K versus your phone or whatever, like a GoPro. I've got a GoPro been loaned out to me. It's got 4K video, and when I watch it back, it kind of makes me dizzy a little bit. It's kind of wild looking versus using my phone to do the exact same trip. I don't know if it's the 4K versus the phone, or vice versa. And then there again, speaking of the GoPro, the one that I've got that I use, it's got 2 hours of recording. So when I go out to record, what 2 hours of my day do I record, and how do I know when to turn it on? People say, well, why didn't you get that photo, or why didn't you get that video if you claim to have seen it? Well, what if I wasn't recording then at that moment? I personally not had a sighting, but I'm saying there's a strong chance that I'm not recording them because I'm trying to save my battery. Even though I've got, multiple cameras and phones, well, they all require battery power or some kind of, they have a time lapse on them of what I can do. It's limited to the card that I've got in there or whatnot. And again, like I say, with the GoPro, it's 4K and it's all this, and it's all high tech. Well, I had a real cheap one that I found that I gave my kids for Christmas a couple years ago. They never used. I tried it out, and I took it, and the picture quality was good. I liked it. It was great. So I was testing it out, and I was out here trying to film in one of my new research areas where actually it brought about this actual episode was with equipment. What are we carrying and where we're at? Because, I was out there trying to film this, trying to show you guys an area, you know, a good location, a good video of where I'm at, what I'm doing. Get back, the video's great. There's no audio. I couldn't hear anything. So it goes to show I took that same camera another day and was in this area, but filming out trying to get these sounds, these vocalizations that I was hearing. I thought, well, man, maybe they're just too far away. Well, maybe it was just that camera. So how well do we know our microphones and our recording capabilities on our GoPros and our cameras when we got out there? I mean, if we're not using parabolics, how good are we getting? You know, I hear it all the time. I was sitting there, I was out by the fire, and I know for a fact it's 30 feet away because it scared me. It startled me. I jumped up. It's got to be on my recording. When you go back and listen to the recording, it's not there. Well, why is it not there? Maybe these recording devices are there to filter out these background noises that are X amount of feet away, or they're not peaking at the right levels of decibels or hertz. So they think that's background noise, and they want that out of there, because we as a species now, and where we're going, it's all intel. It's got to be the clearest, the crispest in this, and we don't want the background noise. We only want the information we want. So who's to say that these devices that we're using right now in this high-tech age are really filtering out and defeating the purpose? They're really hurting our research. I don't know. That's just a thought I've had just now. Let's see. You know, going back to the trail camera, how often are we checking these results? You know, with this particular trail cam, it was hard for me to get to. It was a little dangerous. I actually fell the other day. I was trying to record, walking across the tree, just straight fell off of it, flat on my back. I thought, thank God I've got my pack, because no one knows where I'm at. And then I realized I don't have anything on me. So how that goes back to where we're going to get into a second about our packs, our equipment, and how well we know even that. How well are we logging our data, even if it's good or bad data? So how often are we going back? So when I went to those trail cams, I was waiting a week apart. Had I known what I knew within that week, I could have changed it within 5 minutes. But the equipment I have, you know, I'm sure people have got it with their cell phones. They can look, and they're dead. They know exactly what they got going on. I personally have not got that kind of equipment. Mine, it's all on loan. It's just cheap. People are loaning it out to me. Some because, you know, they think it's funny, what if, and some, hey man, I got this, go for it. If I had more, I'd give it to you, because you're out here doing it. That's what I'm saying. If you guys have the means to, or the equipment that you want to set out, but don't have the ability to get out there in the field as often, or you want to try something, but you, like you said, some people are miles and miles away, and they can go out to a location once a month or once every 6 months, whereas I can go there if need be daily. Not that I want to, that's just how close it is. Like if it's an area that I've got to get to, if this is an experiment that you guys really want to put forth, we can make it happen. Just help me out. If we've got to do this in teams, we can go do it, you know, with the equipment that's available to us. We're just trying. I want to know what you guys are using, what you guys recommend. If we're willing to share information, let's share information. Let's say, hey, this $5,000 FLIR ain't worth a crap versus this one, blah, blah, blah. Or I don't even know if that's how much they cost. It's just, you know, throwing these numbers out there. That's not what, just say, for example, I've been doing this my entire life and I've wasted tens of thousands of dollars. But then I finally found the equipment, the light that I like, or the camera that I like, or this or that, the bag, the tent, whatever, the boots. I'm not going to make some new guy go out there just because he started this year or this week, and I've been doing it for, you know, my lifetime to learn this information. Hey, let's share knowledge, because if I share that little bit of a knowledge to this guy who, hey, even if it's something as simple as what kind of boots I use that I feel like I get the best traction or whatever, and this guy goes out and takes that knowledge and uses it, and he progresses the field. Now, did he take anything away from me? No. That means, all right, this guy's figuring something out. Now he can share that information back. And then we learn to trust one another as a group. That goes again, who do we trust and how do we trust? Who are we getting our knowledge from and our information from? That's why I keep saying John Barenshock and Wayne over at Paranormal Odyssey. These guys always steered me straight. They shoot me straight no matter what the question is, whether I like the answer or not. They throw it at me, and vice versa. I love it. I love these guys' knowledge and their experience, and the fact that they're willing to share. And they're very easily accessible, guys. If you guys haven't reached out or checked them out, please do so. And I've met them. I've hung out. I've been on expeditions with both of them. They're the real deal, guys. They practice what they preach, and they're not just out here saying it. You know, they're not just sitting behind the keyboard like a lot of people. They're really out here doing this research, and that's how we're furthering each other. We're communicating with one another. I'm harping on everything. That goes again with documenting. We document everything. We learn from each other's mistakes of what to and what not to do. Hey, I heard this. Have you ever heard that? I've not really heard a lot of information about it. Does this even go along with it? Or now I'm hearing a lot about the orbs and stuff going along. Well, nobody would have found this information out if we weren't sharing this information. And these guys are like-minded like that. Manimal research, man, get with them. Really good stuff. Sorry for sort of preaching. Let's go back to equipment. Again, with the packs, like I said, I fell. I was alone. Luckily, I didn't get hurt, but I could have. I was. What would have happened? No one knew where I was at. I didn't have a pack. I didn't have anything. That's usually when things happen, when you don't go out prepared. So that's where it goes. How prepared are we with our equipment? How well do we know our packs? Is everything, do we unpack and repack? Is everything the same location every time? Or are we anal? Okay, my compass is here. I've got my extra knife here. My water's here. I got a walkie here. Is it always in those locations? And are we prepared to know what we're doing? Or do we train ourselves like, I don't want to say like the Army or, you know, any military outfit or the police, but do we train ourselves to know? Like you hear these guys all the time, man, I'm out here. This is what I was here for, was to document evidence, to search for this creature. I get out here. I have an event. I have some kind of experience. And what do? I stand there in awe, or I'm shocked and I don't grab anything. Or the one thing I do grab is irrelevant to what I'm trying to record. I don't grab my phone. I don't grab my thermal. I don't grab my night vision or my recorder. I don't have any of this. First thing I do, make sure I'm all there. I make sure I'm intact. Look around for all the exits. Or do we practice that? I mean, how dumb is it? You know, if we're really out here doing this research, we really are doing it. We need to practice that, just like when you play ball, when you're doing, you know, athletics, or and you're out here practicing, you know, basketball. You don't just say, I can shoot the ball one time, it's done, I know how to do it, point proven. No, they're constantly improving their craft. So that's the same with us. So we need to know my walkie is always right here. It's always on this channel. I can always do this in case I fall. My knife is always here. It's only unsheathed in certain, or unlatched in certain situations when I know I've got to get it. I have a whistle right here. My compass. My water is always here. I always have my electrolytes in this pouch. I always have this or that. I know exactly where what is in my pack for whatever situation. My phone, it's always here. I always have it on a GPS app, and I've always got the video camera on it to where when I pull it up, I don't have to fumble through everything. I pull it up and I go. Or my GoPro, when I have it on either front or behind, you know, what I know where it's at, and I practice with that. Now, am I well versed in it? No. The reason why, because I'm learning this in these past couple of weeks that it's took to get this video together. When we don't know our equipment, we can't actually say we're getting tangible evidence. You know, I mean, everyone, like I go back to the trail camera, everyone knows, oh, Bigfoot's avoided by them, or you can't get a good picture of them, or this or that. Well, how do we know? I mean, if we don't know how often we're checking our equipment, we don't know how good our equipment is, what do we have? I mean, I've got pictures on my trail cam that I can't explain, and I've sent out to people that they can't explain, that was taken right before my camera was turned off, of hair. A hair, you can plainly see dark hair, whatever, in the camera, or in the photo. I'll try and get that up on the next one, or send that out to anyone that wants to look at it. Maybe they can help me out. Just reach out, you know, leave me comments, email again, squatcher1222@gmail. But like I said, I don't know if we're not testing these things, we don't know. So again, that goes back to our equipment and our packs. I'd like to know what kind of packs we're using. What name brand is better than other. That way, like I said, we're not wasting our money. Are we saying, is the Walmart brand Ozark Trail? Oh, no, we can't get that because it's a Walmart. We've got to have the name brand that comes, offline or whatever, or we go in these crazy hike stores. I mean, how do we know one's better than the other? I personally use a lot of the Ozarks Trail stuff just because it's cheap. It's versatile for the things that I've used so far. I've never had any of it let me down, and it's easily accessible. Because, like I said, it's from Walmart. Everybody's got a Walmart around. So again, I just wanted to make this episode. I'm sure I'm leaving things out or I'm rambling, but I just wanted to reach out and see what we're using. If you guys got any questions. I want to try and start a thing for artwork. I don't know if you guys can see behind me. I've got a little bit of art that I've bought or been given to me at different conferences or whatever. I've got people that draw things, and I've seen amazing artwork. I don't think it gets shared nearly enough as the people saying, I've seen a tree break. I can go get you a picture of a tree break anywhere, but someone that can draw these pictures, renditions of Sasquatch, or even just fake, just fantasy world things that these people draw. I mean, that's art. That's amazing. If you want to send it in, we'll post it. We can get it out. We can talk about it. If you got a lot, we get it out here. We can talk to you guys about it. Why did you draw that? What influenced you to draw that? Again, this may or may not have anything to do with Bigfoot, but I want to know, once we get into talking about encounters, you hear about all these people having all these encounters at campsites. And I just got done cooking and I was cleaning my food away, or this or that, cleaning my plates and putting everything away, and Sasquatch came in. Well, I've never heard what were you cooking? Has anyone ever done a kind of test like that? What were we cooking? Was everybody cooking just pork and beans, and that's what brought them in? Or were you cooking a steak, or you were cooking elk, or you were cooking this, or sausages, or hot dogs? What were you cooking to know what brought that experience? So maybe when I'm out here, the next time I'm out in a park camping, or I'm out in the wilderness camping, I might think, man, I'm going to try this. I'm going to cook up this recipe and just see what kind of experience I have and see if that brings the same thing. Cause that's the same thing with science. It's got to be repeated to get a result. You got to repeat it. So that's why we document. We can test this out. If say you eat pork and beans and you got a tree knocks 45 minutes from them. Okay. Well, that's part of your experience. Well, now the next guy, hey, he had steak and potatoes and this big deal, and he got vocalizations within 20 minutes. Okay, so let's write that down. That's part of the experience. And then the next guy makes some kind of stew, some amazing stew, and he's getting everything. Had stuff coming into camp and all this within immediately after laying down. So why can't we try and repeat these? These are part of the experiences. These are also part of it, data points that we need to try and recreate. I don't care to go out here and cook a hot dog and eat it because I'm going to love it. Well, if that hot dog, if it's a certain brand that brings in a Bigfoot, well, that's the one we're going to try because there's a reason for that potentially. I don't know. Again, guys, just any kind of questions, any comments, just leave them at here or at squatcher1222@gmail, again, with the artwork or your recipes. I like to eat, even if it's not necessarily got to do with Bigfoot. Let's share them. I like to eat and try new things and share information. And I want to leave you guys with another question. I was thinking, I don't know if I've put enough into it to get a full episode on, but I was thinking about experiences that people have, whether aggressive and the way these creatures react. And they say with women and children, a lot of times they're not very aggressive, but with men they seem to be more aggressive, or they're overly aggressive with fishermen, but they're less aggressive with hunters, even though those accounts are both aggressive. Fishermen, they have food, but they really don't have anything to defend themselves, so perhaps they're more aggressive to show their dominance without fear of reprisal, and they get that free meal. Versus a hunter, they know that stick in their hand goes boom and things fall over, so they're got to be aggressive enough to scare you out of using it. But with that being said, let's think about this. I'm just curious. This is my thought. So you look at me now with this big beard or whatever, I look a certain way. I can assure you, if I went to rob a bank right now with this beard and I went and shaved myself clean faced immediately after, I would not be caught. A child look is underneath this beard. So if I go out there right now with this beard and have this experience, is that going to be perceived as just because of the beard? Is that more of an aggressive stance on my part because I look more masculine versus with the childish baby face? Is that why? Could I have a different experience like that, more like a child would have, where they're less aggressive and they're more beckoning and more playful? Has anyone thought about that? I don't know. That could just be a crazy thought that I've had. I have those from time to time. But again, guys, thanks. Thanks for listening. If you like it, I appreciate the feedback. And just hit me up what you think, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.